Good morning, gentlemen. We're on our 23rd segment, Think Before You Speak series, the laws of Shemirat Halashon with clarity. Lilu Nishmat Chafetz Chaim Zechet Tzadik L'Bracha, Lilu Nishmat Luza Aliza Bat Henriette and her children that passed in the fire. And this should be a great zechut, these halachot, for our Bnei Chabura, our morning kollel that learns every day till 11 in the morning. Unbelievable guys. And at the same time, it should be a zechut for all the Yeshuot for Klal Yisrael. And it should be a great zechut and a Shemirat Elyonah for Yeshuot of Chaim Davido ben Chayesar. This morning's halachot, the title is The Good Listener. Now this is interesting. Till now we were talking about what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say. We're always talking about the speaker. Today we're going to talk about the other half of the coin. Today we're going to talk about the listener. Now, as a listener, you are not allowed to listen to someone speaking Lashon Hara. You're not allowed to believe what you're hearing when someone is telling you Lashon Hara. You cannot believe the words to be true, period. Now, this does not mean that the person that's telling you what they're telling you is a liar. We're not saying that. We're simply saying that the person that's speaking and saying over the Lashon Hara, he's saying built on an assumption that he thinks it's true. But in truth, you, the listener, still have the opportunity to judge the person that he's talking about favorably. And therefore, although the guy's not a liar, but the assumption he's making might be incorrect. And therefore, you heard what he said about that guy, don't take it as true. Rather, the person he's talking about, judge that person favorably. Probably the guy's assumption is incorrect. However, if there's no way to judge the person he's talking about favorably, then you're not allowed to believe the story at all. Now listen to this. When it comes to listening, a person is not allowed to say, you know what, I'll listen to the Lashon Hara, but I know myself, I won't believe it. No. You're not allowed to listen to it, period. Even if you're coming with the mindset that I'm going to listen but not believe, that still is not enough of a heter to actually listen to the Lashon Hara. And therefore, you're not allowed to listen to it at all. However, if you hear that someone is starting to speak Lashon Hara about someone that's relevant to you, meaning you're about to do a shidduch with this person, you're about to go as a business partner in business with this person or do business with this person. So there's something relevant about the person that this guy just began speaking Lashon Hara about. Then already you're allowed to listen, but only to protect yourself. Because he's talking about someone that you're about to enter dealings with. But you're not allowed to believe what you're hearing is true, but you may listen on the defense, just to protect yourself, telling yourself, I don't believe one word of it, but it's important for me to at least hear maybe there's something here that will protect me from the dealings I'm about to enter with this person. Just for a moment, I want to finish and tell you how great of a role the listener plays. As a speaker, someone who gives classes, you have no idea how important the role of the listeners in the room when you're speaking. I remember in the days when we used to give the classes on radio, I was sitting there in a room with a set of headphones on my ear, and I was standing in front of a wall in a small little studio talking to nobody. There was no one to project to. There was no one to pick up the vibes on what you were speaking. I remember years ago, we invited one of my favorites, Rabbi Pesach Kron, Shem Shegivim Arichut Yamim Mishanim. We invited him here to the shul to speak once. And he was speaking to our Bet Knesset. And at the end of the speech, he came up to me and he told me something I'll never forget. He said to me, Rabbi Duvi, thank you. And I thought he was talking about inviting him. And then he said, Rabbi Duvi, thank you. You're a great listener. When I was speaking, I was able to kind of zero in on your face in the crowd. I felt I had someone really soaking in and taking the information. He walked up to me after the class and said, you made it easier for me to speak because I had a great listener. thought to myself when it came to this halacha, look at that. Chafetz Chaim's right. I mean, of course he's right. The listener plays a big role in the speaker. It actually invites the speaker to speak, and to speak maybe even more. And therefore, as much as it's terrible to speak Lashon Hara, it's terrible to give the speaker a listening ear to listen to the Lashon Hara as well. Remember, you can't have a bank robber without someone in the getaway car. Thank you for listening.